Well, good Friday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majewski back with you here in the North Georgia Majewski Studios with your Ice Storm 2026 weather update here on your January 23rd, 2026. Well, things are definitely getting very interesting as we now have the entire North Georgia area under an ice storm warning, and things are really going to start to deteriorate, especially Saturday night and into Sunday morning. So please take all precautions you need to be ready for this developing winter storm. Now, before we get into this full report, if you're new here to the channel and you live anywhere here across North Georgia, please by all means hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future updates, because if you don't, you won't get them. That's just how YouTube works. All right, let's go ahead and take a live look there in Helen. Actually breaking some sunshine here late this afternoon. We have a reinforcing shot of some cold air coming into the area, so briefly clearing out. It won't stay that way, though, as we're expecting the clouds to quickly race back in coming in toward tonight. But Helen is going to be one of the locations that will probably get hit some of the hardest icing here in this particular event. Now, heading on down toward Lake Lanier, seeing the clouds down this way here for this afternoon. But again, we're looking in store for a fairly quiet night across North Georgia before the worst comes to wear as we come into your Saturday and Sunday. Now, here's the latest breakdown on the warnings. As you can clearly see, we have all of North Georgia up here in the purple. That is icing. Now, the severest locations will be up here across the northeastern zones as far as the level of icing anticipated, but everybody to some degree will have either a quarter inch up to 1 inch of icing, and there's some indications it could potentially be even higher than that, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Now, looking at the local radar, we're clear. We're quiet for tonight. Don't have to worry about that for this evening. And again, we got a lot of clouds streaming in from the west, so what little sunshine Helen's seeing right now probably won't last long. We're generally going to hold on to some mostly cloudy skies across North Georgia here for tonight. Looking at the regional radar here, we're seeing that reinforcing shot of cold air coming on down here. Look at the drop-off of the temperatures here. 23 up here, 41, 54. You clearly see this cold air is coming into the area here, and it's going to be one of the reasons why we're going to be fighting what's coming at us for Saturday and Sunday. We're going to have a cold air wedge coming in. We know what those are. Basically, that means we get the cold air from a very strong Arctic high up in Pennsylvania. It's going to be bringing down some cold Arctic air as a low pressure is tracking this way. So again, the air flows from high to low, and that's what's going to be bringing down that colder air. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the latest model data here. We're going to look at the latest European model here. Watch that little timestamp there in the upper right-hand corner. As you'll see, conditions are not bad throughout most of the day on Saturday. It really doesn't go until later in the afternoon where we start to see that icing take place and going into the overnight hours here on this particular model run. And with that strong wedge in place, we're going to have that icing to take place here through most of Sunday, and then it starts to break down by late afternoon. We briefly go over to some rain, and then the cold air quickly moves on in here. So black ice will be in abundance as expected on Monday with the system, and we stay cold into Tuesday, and Tuesday is really looking bitterly cold here across the area. Let's look at that icing effect. Right now, it looks like about 3/4 of an inch showing up here on the European model. Again, looking pretty icy. Again, anything above a ½ inch, and you got some serious power disruptions across the area, and that's what we're expecting here in the ice storm area zone. All the major snows, that's going to stay up toward the north. We don't have to worry about that. No snow with this particular system. Now, the American GFS, we'll take a look at that one as well. They are very similar here on both of these. The only difference I do see is it looks like a little more action here by 7 o'clock coming into the area. But again, you got that severe icing taking place with some heavier downpours coming into this area. And that continues all night into Sunday morning. So it's lingering pretty long there. So you're talking about 12 hours plus of icing, and then it pulls on out. So however hard that precipitation is going to be a big deal here. And we have to watch those temperatures critically. All right, now this clearly moves on out, and things improve and looking very cold there for Monday and Tuesday. Now, as far as the icing is going here, the icing level on the GFS is still staying high, 1 inch, even to almost 2 inches showing up there across portions of northeast Georgia here on this model. And again, the snow staying to the north, although a little bit further south than the European, just a little bit there in Tennessee, but no snow expected with the system. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the high resolution model data. This one is the most recent. It just came in, and this one's probably the most concerning to me. All right, so I'm going to explain why to here in a second. All right, so kind of watch what's going on here with this. Again, we're at 7 o'clock in the morning. You're looking pretty quiet here for most of the day. So any kind of last minute preparations on Saturday, you're looking okay. But when we get into the evening hours, things start to deteriorate as we head toward 10 o'clock, and that icing really picks up here. All right, and you notice that icing stays there. You get a little bit of a break, and then it still stays there going into the later afternoon and into the early afternoon hours. And there's a reason for that, and I'm going to show you that here in a little second. We back this straight up here to Saturday again, and I'm going to switch over to the temperature. Watch the temperatures on this. This is the thing that's got me most concerned here on the high resolution model. So again, watch this. I'm going to back this up, get this back to 18Z. Here we go. And watch this as we go into Saturday. And going into Saturday evening, you're going to watch those cold temperatures come in as that precipitation is coming in. We got temperatures here dropping down well into the 20s, lower 20s. This is very cold here on the high resolution model data here. And again, the colder the air, the less moisture it can hold. So that could support heavier precipitation in here. And again, this only goes until 1 o'clock, but still holding under the 20s and 30s. And it looks like the low is tracking a little bit further south than what the European is going. But it's very, very icy concerns here. In fact, as we go ahead and take a look at the winter precipitation on this, I'll go ahead and get this up for you as well. As you can see here on the freezing rain total, and this is just until 1 o'clock, it's showing over an inch, and that cold air holding on in here. A lot of widespread 1 inches showing up on this model here. So it looks a little colder, and it looks like widespread power outages can be expected here across North Georgia on Sunday. Now, one thing I want to point out here on the European model real quick as we go back over to that, after the system goes on by, we stay cold all week, all right? Nothing significant here to worry about. It stays pretty cold here. We got another reinforcing shock coming in on Thursday with some snows up into the areas of the Smokies. And then going into next weekend, we pretty much stay quiet, okay? Not going to see any big changes there. I'm going to go back to the southeast. Here we go. And you see that stays cold, all right? Now, I'm showing you this for a reason because the American GFS model is doing something a little crazy here. It is keeping us cold as well. You're still tracking that other little system on Thursday. There it is right there, coming in across the Tennessee and Kentucky. And then it brings a storm system along the Gulf Coast and showing a major winter storm here coming into the next weekend. Now, this is a model I do not agree with. I want to put this out there in case you see it out there on social media. Until I see something on the European, I'm not buying what the GFS is selling there. But one thing is for certain, we're going to stay very cold next week. So as we go ahead and take a look at those temperatures here, I'm going to pull those up. Again, watch what the lows do here as we go into your Monday morning here. Again, we watch that low go by. And then Monday morning, we're going to have bad black ice here. We got temperatures in the teens and 20s. Afternoon highs here on your Monday afternoon. We'll be lucky to get above freezing, except for maybe the eastern areas across North Georgia. And then morning lows here dropping down into the single digits here and lower teens here across a lot of North Georgia. That's on the GFS model. And then on the Tuesday afternoon, we're barely still holding on to the 30s for the afternoon. Check out the American GFS for the same period. So if you say goodbye to that cold air, we're going to wake up in the morning again showing teens and 20s here across North Georgia. Black ice, a major problem. And then not really getting above freezing here throughout the day on Monday. And then Tuesday morning, very cold air showing up here, showing widespread single digits. And some of this gray you're seeing there, that is actually below zero temperatures. So 3 degrees, 6 degrees. If we get a major icing, especially across northeast Georgia, I do suspect that we might see some temperatures flirting with temperatures below zero. So even though we're getting rid of the severe winter weather, the severe cold is still going to be a big problem for us here starting the week. So as we go look at your full map and we look at your forecast here, watch that little timestamp there on top as we go through the next 7 days, as we're going to be looking at, again, this storm coming right at us here with that big Arctic high to the north and all that moisture, just a massive winter storm. This will be one for the history books for sure because it's impacting so many people. Widespread power outages, heavy snows all along this thing. And then by Monday, we start to slowly clear. We got the cold air coming back in. One thing about Monday, it's going to be plenty cold. It's also going to be very windy. You see all those isobars in here. Very windy northerly winds on your Monday. That settles down for Tuesday morning. That high is going to be right on top of us. So that's exceptional radiational cooling. Very, very dry Arctic air, like below zero dew points. And it's going to be very, very cold. And then Wednesday, we're going to see that reinforcing shot of cold air coming down on Wednesday and Thursday. And then Friday, again, we have to watch what this does back here. Okay, the European basically buries this into the Gulf, not a problem, while the GFS is trying to track a low here along the Gulf Coast. So like I said, I favor the European on this. The GFS, I think, is way overdone for obvious reasons, so please stay away from that solution for now. All right, so let's go look at our forecast, wrap things up here for you here. Again, we're looking at Gainesville, looking at 4136. Could see some late day scattered sleet potentially there. Initially, when the precipitation starts with this dry air currently moving it across the area, you might see a little sleet there. And then we'll go over to freezing rain. So, but tonight, Colder in the northwest zones because of that cold front that's coming down, upper 20s and around 30, and then a little milder there across the eastern zones. Obviously, a little more cloud cover too. And then daytime highs tomorrow, again, mostly in the 40s. A little bit of that wedge showing up with 30s across northeast Georgia. Again, couldn't rule out a little bit of sleet mixed in there. The winds are also going to pick up. That's going to be a factor. 10 to 25 miles per hour in the North Georgia mountains. Could see wind gusts up to 40. So if we get a substantial icing on those trees and you throw that wind in there, we're going to knock down a lot of trees and a lot of power lines. So that is a major problem and a major concern there. Looking at your regional forecast, check out Memphis and Nashville, 21 and 28. Let's go to New Orleans. That's warmer. 67, some thunderstorms there. 52 over in Savannah. All right, here goes the 7-day forecast, and we're looking at, again, icy conditions there on Saturday and Sunday. Pardon my background. I got the wrong background there, wrong city, but that's okay. You get the gist. 32-22 there on Monday, 34-9 on Tuesday. I mean, just absolutely cold there. 40-20, and then I'm going 33-14 on Friday with that next Arctic shock coming down. So, again, very cold all next week. Definitely want to make sure this is going to be one of those situations, I feel, where we may see schools closed for several days, if not the entire week, depending on how bad the icing gets. And staying brutally cold. I at least see the schools closed for Monday and Tuesday for sure at minimum, just because of the black ice on Monday, which will probably carry into Tuesday, and the bitterly cold temperatures expected on Tuesday morning. Again, I appreciate you guys checking us out here on the YouTube channel. Please, by all means, join our growing weather family here. Getting ready to cross 3,000 subscribers on this channel, and I would love to have you on board. Please hit that subscribe button, and by all means, hit that notification bell. Very important to do. You got to do it because YouTube don't like it if you don't do that. Please hit that notification bell so you're alerted when we do these updates. All right, that's it for now. Y'all be good, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow for the next weather update. Bye-bye.